again. You can't pull me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't pull me again. Can't pull me again. You can't pull me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't pull me again. What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the year little rat you. Use the youth, them on the waste, and bust a man to statue. Say me like a cashew, but bigger than a figure you. Take the skin from money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day the man above end up, him a got a bet. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you. It burn me 300% raise. It burn me garbage pile of the day. It burn me give the teacher them raise. It burn me I see corruption face. It burn me mash down the people them house. It burn me every day appear arms out. It burn me appear money them a thief. It burn me and them a sell out with each. Can't pull me again. You can't pull me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't pull me again. Can't pull me again. You can't pull me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't pull me again. For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rap and they down in our fever. Member bold only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start like people themselves. It burn me. Or they treat the market man. It burn me. Or them a treat the cat man. It burn me. Or they treat the peanut man. It burn me. Or them a treat the dirt man. It burn me. Or them a treat the sun man. It burn me. Or them a treat policeman. It burn me. Or them a treat soldier man. It burn me. Or them a treat everyone.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good evening, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is the most turbulent part of Andrew Holness regime since 2016. The heat is being turned up across the country and the Prime Minister and his MPs. It was the Prime Minister that told us that, yes, my MPs are not performing, but I have given them this to do, targets to meet, and all sorts. But the people across the country, Prime Minister, are saying enough is enough. The bad road, the high food prices, too much, Prime Minister, is going on that you are ignoring. And the people are calling out. 1 second. To my community party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good evening and welcome. Good evening to TikTok. Good evening to YouTube. Let me get in my chat. Good evening. We are going to look at Andrew's calamity this evening, even though him has set out his next pivot to inclusive growth. He's making a policy statement, economic policy statement, but never mind that. Debbie Jarvis TV, Sharon Bernard, Marcia Thomas, Dorothy Elliott. Good evening, good evening. Donette Harriet, Annie Jones, Rose Sweet, RJ, Sunshine, Evan Riley, Laura Morris, Rosemary Samuels, Darren Clark, Lady Bug, Willie Don, Abenasa Cody, Evan Bradford, Joan Brown, Rose, Sophia Hall. Good evening, Cousin Marina. Good evening, Paula Shelley, Jem Ashley, EM. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sharon Powell, Elga Fletcher, Anthony Morgan. Good evening. I don't make the war start early. I beg. I don't hit the like button. Canadian girl, good evening. Don't make the problem start from early. Too much problem, the easy jerk world. Too much problem in the Jamaica Labour Party. For me and Ono get at it this evening because there's an awful lot going on over Andrew there. So what we have to look pan. London Bridge is falling down. Certainly. Andrew Holness regime is falling down. Gloria Taylor. The Prime Minister's regime is falling down. Michelle McKay. All across the country, people are fed up. Absolutely fed up. But let's go over to East Portland and address certain issues over there. Mr. Who over TikTok and say hello. Lucky G, Nashrin, good evening. Make we go over East Portland. We're going to talk about messaging. Beat and teach now reach yet. Done it. Good night. Chanel Williams. We're going to go back over to East Portland. And we're going to look at messaging. Hero Botham. We're going to look at messaging and we're going to look at contention as opposed to policy. The action lady out there, Christine Gilbert, told the youths of East Portland, "I no come from school at evening time. You can't just rub out on a hand miggle." Andrew Davis, good evening, thank you. You can't say never say yes or you're not on. Because we have it. You say go on to school, but when you come from school, you can't rub out on a hand. Norman Ferguson. At evening time. Alton Levy. I know we are make it up. It is what the Action and MP says. Kathy, how are you? But we're going to look at Action and's message as opposed to Isaac Buchanan's message. Let us look at what Action and said too. No, make we run over St. Thomas quickly first. Because I want to set the stage tonight. So Labour don't beat me too hard, and PNP don't beat me too hard. There's a reason why we don't fight and quarrel over politicians. This are our politicians. What we fight and war over, but look how much they are friends when we are war over them.
I'll leave it alone. Hallelujah. Hi. Say rock
this is Michelle Charles winding up and Damian Crawford and Fitz Jackson. And Michelle Charles running.
Mr. Guys, Mr. Guys, Uncle Donald, Mr. Guys, what happened? Roll out, no.
So me say to no say, let's not argue over politician. And whatever we do it with concern for our country. Because no matter how you see, we behave out there, the whole of them are friends. Labour and PNP politicians are friends. Are the peasant them alone? You understand? Are the peasant them alone war over them? So I want to set the stage for you to understand, say, me not war over them, so you not come war with me over them, because the whole of them are crook. Remember the amount PJ thief and where Andrew teach PJ for thief, you know? Andrew and PJ was the two thiefingest Prime Minister Jamaica have. TJ teach Andrew how for thief, not just Siaga. Anyway, get on with it. Now let's go over to action and messaging, Miss Vaz.
In the morning, sure people must success, and we know that. So I am going to appeal to all my youths here. Yes, you can walk on and rub your hand little, but that's how when you come from school and put something in your head. We education. In the morning, sure people must success, and we know that. So I am going to appeal to all my youths here. Yes, you can walk on and rub your hand little, but that's how when you come from school and put something in your head. We educate.
Yes, she said, you can go corner go rub your hand after you come from school. In contrast, let's look at her opponent messaging to the youths of East Portland and the youths of Jamaica. Let's compare and contrast messaging. And because you love cry over water, you know, so you probably will cry when you see the crowd last week Sunday, because if you can cry over water, if you can cry over water and Vaz, you can cry over anything else. But let's look at Isaac Buchanan messaging compare to Anvar's message.
I'm Isaac Buchanan, attorney at law. They say context matters, and here's the most important thing, and I'm appealing to the youth across Jamaica. Messaging is so important. It cannot be overstated, the value and the importance of education. You are to use your time wisely inside of the classroom and outside of the classroom. The result of bad advice when it comes to good education is what you see behind me. And I just want you to pay attention, use your time in school to be the best version of yourself. And that includes being doctors, lawyers, pilots, engineers, entertainers. And the sky is the limit and impossible is nothing. Don't ever forget that. Bless you.
Messaging, Miss Vaz. You see the difference? You tell them, say, no, go to school, go on bench. But then you can't come from school at evening time and go in a corner, go turn absolute toe rag. Isn't it, Miss Vaz? That's the advice you're giving. Go on to school, go on bench. And then you can become an utter toe rag after school over. You see the difference in communication, Miss Vaz. Another thing I want to tackle on a JLP and Portland people on before we go over to Andrew's calamity. The gay argument that you're all pushing, can you stop, please? Allow anybody else except for you all to do it. Please, don't do it. You're making yourself look bad. Dr. Jermaine God might not be around, but you may be asking for rogue like me to come out and start a mudslinging with you. Those who come to equity must come with a clean hands. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stone. If you visit Cliff Hughes' party on the 31st of December annually, don't throw stone. Do you understand? Because when they were powering a Chichiman car and all that, when Mr. Darrell Vaz is promoted, Darrell Vaz, you may try to hide it, you know. We're aware, though, that Shanique Green and Anne-Marie Vaz is in a full-blown relationship, Darrell Vaz. So how come on advance that argument? Orlando Terrelong is in a full-blown relationship with the Prime Minister's former attorney. How on advance these bullshit? The JLP government signed the Samoa Agreement. The JLP government signed a pact with Canada to teach all kind of bullshit and rubbish in Jamaica. How are you all advancing that argument? Let's remind you of a conversation between Dr. Gordon and Nigel Clark. I don't know, Nigel Clark won Cliff Hughes' party. Andrew knows that. Patrick Bailey knows that. Orlando Terrelong knows that. Please, don't start an unnecessary war. One nago can keep up too. You understand? Don't start something you cannot keep up.
I know what politics give. I know the corruption. I know that I am an open. Let me tell you who is Dr. Jermaine Gordon, an open gay person. Yes, who know all of your secret, who know every single one of you, who mingle on that side of the fence and hypocritical in the party. I will blow you out. Go ask Patrick Bailey who you're speaking with. Go and ask Patrick Bailey who you're speaking with. Go and ask Cliff Hughes who you're speaking with. I've been to the up in Cliff Hughes' house with the big parties on the New Year's Eve and see everybody who is there at the gay party them. Only just a set of hypocrite and corruption. Not that I'm leading to say, I'm all for saying Jamaica have its right to stand and say no homosexual law is okay with it. But I'm just showing you the extent of the corruption that I know. Because you're interested to know who you're speaking with.
Right, sir. Okay. All right, sir. I really apologize for angering you. I'm just doing my job of interfering.
And that's just a little snippet, Nigel. The rest of it is over Dr. Gordon's page. And this doesn't only subject Nigel alone to Cliff Hughes' party. Andrew Holness, you know you're a regular attendee at Cliff Hughes' New Year's Eve party. Do you want to prove me wrong, Prime Minister? So, stop that name-calling bullshit and speak to the people with policy. And that, if you come talk about, if you watch the PNP East Portland Galangin last moon, It was a difference to what we heard, the amount of name calling and word dropping from Darrell Vaz and Vaz, the one with tough like the road them in our constituency, Finn. It's beer those monkey story and a nasty story them come out with, but they're not speaking to the people about policies. When you see the whopping where the Democrat get because them refuse to speak about policy, and every time Kamala asks a question about Biden, he say, but Trump. It's the same thing the Jamaica Labour Party is doing. Every time you ask them something, PNP, 18 years, PNP, what have you done though? Yes, we know say PJ thief. We know say PJ thief a lot. That's PJ even thief big salary. Give uno after uno left. The whole uno depend big salary from PJ to Bruce Golden to Portia to Andrew. Everybody, yes, a PJ thief, all of that go no. We know say all uno a thief. But what have you done? PJ didn't do anything in his the 18 years of PJ and Portia, they didn't do anything. But what have you done? Beat and teach, Tash, Wagwan. What have you done? This is what you cannot say to the nation. This is why the nation is becoming angry and fed up. Georgiana, Wagwan. Georgina, Wagwan. How you do? Them something here. And why the people fed up? Because you are not speaking to them. Look at when these youths spoke to you in Chilani about jobs and about what you can do for them. Look at how you scave all around the place without providing an answer. But all house a fall down pano, you know. All house is falling down because we see we are going where JC come open up a can of worm and explain to us how the vote buying go. And for those who have not heard out of JC Hutchinson's mouth, we not talk out of Philly News carrying mouth. We're going to make JC Hutchinson, the grasshopper on the railway track, tell you no out of him mouth, because them love to say everything vlogger make up, or we use AI do it, or we Photoshop it. Maybe a Photoshop with Photoshop JC acting like a grasshopper. You might never know.
Many of you would have been seeing a demonstration that went on in Northwest St. Elizabeth. I don't want to go further into it, but I want you to understand, for every election that we have had, you have had the people coming out and demonstrating against me. And every election, I have won by a bigger majority. I told the area council a couple of weeks ago that the demonstration was coming because I call it the pre-election demonstration, because we know it's coming. And I won't get into the sort of people who were there, but some of them, you help them once, you help them twice, and the time you don't help them, then turn around and cuss you. One of them has sent on farm work, and after 3 weeks, the man come back home, said the work too tough, he can't manage it. And then him now want the MP to support him. Another one you see in the picture him admit that him got 50 chicken and 5 bag of feed from me. But I never give him the black drum. So you understand the people that I deal with in my constituency. So no matter what happened, they have become good. The rest of them who were there get $5,000 and a box lunch.
That was Vote Buying 2.0, explained by MP JC Hutchinson. JC said, "No licky. When walk on my people yard, no cheap, no wanga got." JC said, "No matter, every time on a demonstrate, I buy more vote and I come back to parliament with a higher majority. No cheap," said JC Hutchinson. "Walk on beggy, lazy and not have no ambition." I know me say so, you know. When somebody speak, you can read inferences from it. You can read anything you want to read from it. And at that JC Hutchinson say, "On a wanga got, on a licky, on a beggy, on a nyami, on a lazy, on a lack ambition, and no selling yourself cheap." I know me say so. So not tearing on my face. Tearing on my face like I miss it so. You just heard it from JC Hutchinson. I don't want even to tell you no. Some of the people them what me I deal with. Some of them they ain't cheap as $5,000 on a box food. Yes, JC said it, so I'm not tearing on my face. Come in on a mix up when we go walk and talk, you say. Global TV says, no, go talk is on no ear out of the grass copper mouth that him can buy on a cheap for any price. He want pay for no. He can take it up and pay for no. But Bangaranga hit Andrew, you know. It's not only that Andrew Holness and Audley in a big collar up Minister Plenty. Because Minister Plenty, they on TV attack one hope of plentiful things, you know. This is one with her neck on her shoulder. Or what she say, you know. Oh gosh, me something overlap a bit. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Commissioner Johnson Smith, is heading a Jamaican delegation. Oh, yes, this is the CARICOM Galangin. So, I want to say, as I was saying in the economic argument explained by Professor Richard Wolff on Monday morning, or yesterday Monday, something like that. So, our leaders need to speak to us about Jamaica's direction in a multipolar world, given the decline, the hastening collapse of the American empire. Of course, we are aware that we have a relationship with China. We have some relationship with Russia because they have mining in Jamaica. We see memorandum of understanding signed with the Indians the other day, but CARICOM is hosting a summit with India. So India is a major player in BRICS, likewise China. The question is, what is Jamaica's geographical direction? Because if the US is falling on its face, do we fall with the US or do we let the US fall and crash on top of us? Or do we speak to the country about the direction that we need to go? And I'm hoping the People's National Party is ready to have that conversation with the people. We can't just talk up so and just lead blindly, follow a falling US empire going nowhere. The world is changing. The power structure of the world is changing. And I think Jamaica needs to be positioned to benefit the changes. But we don't see nothing from Andrew. We say we know we have a relationship with China. We see them a build closer ties with the Indian. But what about the BRICS as a pack, as opposed to having these bilateral what you call them, trade deal or agreements or whatever you want to call it. So that's another thing we need to ask our government and our opposition leader, given that we are leading up to a general election. We should want to have that conversation rather than the whole of the name calling between the JLP and the PNP. We ought to be having these policy conversations. This is a big conversation we should be having. The world is changing. The power structure of the world is changing. The economic structure of the world is changing. But we are not having a conversation of where we are in it and our direction in it, or our partners in it for that matter. Do we have anything else on our slide to tackle before we go into Andrew Holness's calamity? Discontent simmers in JLP over who should replace, supplant rather, but it's replace as well. Mania, the Manayard. This is one of the things that I've always been speaking about, the hereditary politics or the boys' club mentality of our politics, or for that, indeed, the ownership of a seat. Sorry. This is what's been played out here. And this is the reason why you have dead JC for almost 30 years doing nothing. You have dead Mike Henry with his casket next to his bed. Roll call, his name still called on roll call in Parliament. These old dinosaurs of politics, they literally own those quote-unquote safe seats. And it's not a matter of well-rounded person within the constituency that would come forward and want to represent gets the opportunity. It's not like that. It is that Audley shall own the seat for God Almighty knows how long. And Audley Shaw is handing it over to whoever he chooses. These are some of the problems in our politics, why we cannot get proper representation. It's the same problem with the PNP in a Portmore when it comes to Dr. Dawes and Alric as well. The people are saying we want this, the party are saying no, we're entrenching this. We need to have a different political system. How people get to representation, both councillor and MP, where we have a mechanism within the community or within the division or within the constituency where we vote to elect those people, rather than it is thrown to the delegates and the party exec structure, which I caught a war and a division in PNP because it said Peter Bunting taking money and buy whatever and buy the whole party. And these type of madness is why we're not getting proper representation, because we we get people entrenched on us, such as Dr. Christopher Tufton, who was a crook in Southwest St. Elizabeth. And when we got rid of him, them take him got entrenched at St. Catherine. Dr. Tufton should have never come back to representational politics. But people don't get the choice to represent because of how this thing is structured. Look, Pernell Charles, him and down left, him make sure entrench to him picnic before him go. DK Duncan entrench some of him, them albeit not very successful. One of the Bruce Golden daughter in a Senate. Whole heap of them, what the man the name? Phillips. Him have son in there. Tom Tavares I try bring in for him son. Danny Buck bring in for him son. The hereditaryism in our politics need to cut out. The boys club ism in our politics need to cut out. Is why we end up with people like Mayor Mats. We can't share 10 pounds for 2 people equally. The whole of East Portland full. Portland and a whole have a whole heap of dunce counselor. Because Darrell Vaz and Anvaz only entrench dunce to secure kickbacks rather than people who can actually understand how to implement local government policy, how to do their work, how to serve the people. And this is why Andrew Holness in a calamity. Because Andrew Holness usher in a bag of dunce, both at local and central government. A whole wallop of dunce were there and now do nothing from local government to central government. That is one of the things that Andrew Holness' legacy is. Flood parliament and local government with a pack of dunce. But let us move over to Calamity Corner because it not look good for the Prime Minister, not one bit.
Yeah, man, Mr. Moore, go suck yourself. And give you the road. Take you all the money you're pushing on the pocket. You all pay tax, sir.
Road protest.
Hey, my people, if you have to use the Plowden Road, be very careful. All the road from Rose Corner straight through to Plowden needs debushing. And you have a lot of this to face going up. It's very, very dangerous for a motorist. Very, very dangerous for a motorist. You'll see what motorists have to go through on a daily basis. It has been like this for weeks now. And we're calling on the relevant authority. We're calling on the Member of Parliament for South Manchester to use the allocation to fix this section of the Plowden Road and other sections of Plowden Road. Calling on him as well to fix the Downs Road, Downs to Alligator Pond Road. We're calling on him again to debush the entire South Manchester constituency roads under his watch. Do some work now, man. Do some work.
When this mega project started, you see, they didn't have a dialogue with the committee. We only hear, see it on the group that 2 days we're going to have road fixed and water in 3 weeks. It's now 11 months and 7 days. First, we heard that they were out of pipe. You're laying a 4-inch pipe. They use this big machine and dig a road. The road is in the middle of the road, 4.5 feet by 18 inches wide. So it's a 4-inch pipe. That makes sense to you? Yeah. And after that now, we hear that pipe run out. Then after we hear that pipe now needs to be tested. Nothing has been done. All happening to Mall Road and put some mall in there. If you ever sit in the community, just the road alone would kill the person. Because the road is not being dilapidated condition. We have spoken to the MP time and time again. I asked her in the meeting, Miss Madam MP, when will the road fix? She's waiting on NCC and NAA. Is it the donkey, the tail one bleeding dog, or the dog rolling? Yeah, I don't know what is happening, but my road is not being fixed. And we are suffering. My vehicle take 100,000 to fix. I placed in the group. I placed in the group that we're going to get some. Nobody not give back anything. We only sit back like some stupid people in the community, and we take a bunch of fools.
So who organized the protest?
All of us. We have a group in the community. We have a CDC group. So we meet and we say enough is enough. We have to do something. And we're going to take it a little further if needs be. I mean, this is a disgrace to the community. I live in this community for 59 years. And the worst road I've ever been. And we have one problem here. NCC need to replace some pipes in the top of the hill. Yes. Then the people will get water. Now this mega project, this machine, I don't know what the name of it. 4.5 feet deep. And make up a road. And all them put back in the mall. And tell them we must be satisfied. So that's what we are talking about. Need to know too. The Prime Minister came to my hall and talked about this mega project and you people didn't have water for 40 years, they're going to get water now. That's a lie.
395 of you on the Producer Wayne channel. Please do better with the likes, no? I want to tell me if you forgot me, but over your call, you know, government say, when I remember the little girl in a COVID when it hit social media viral. Government say, on fit turn on your yard, hey, if an emergency don't go out a door in Britain, out the cold, bad. One cold that they will walk through your bone, no care what you wear, it not pretty out there. But you can do better with the like button. Just like how me can bring information to you on anything. You can support to you, no hard. Nah do no thing.
How long ago was that? 11 months.
No,
it's actually
at the same time when they start the project.
Yeah. It comes from some time before the local government election. This is not political thing. This is about the people dissatisfied. We are disgruntled. We are not pleased with our representation. Thank you.
We're in the community of Mayal, guys. We're residents from the CDC. I've decided to do a peaceful demonstration with some placards. As you can see, it's majority elderly people who have vehicles, but their roads have been dug up for so long and all they have been receiving are empty promises. As leaders, we have to be more vigilant, more mindful of how we treat a nation of such remarkable people, because it reflects on our own ability to really carry through the leadership in a sincere manner. And it's not just about my yard, because I hear that protests are going elsewhere and I'm not in power. But I've done things, for example, assist the people in Guava Walk with some marl to fix their own roads. And the persons in power are not assisting the people. Now what is the purpose of a government? And it sheds light on the whole fact that no more than ever our citizens need to be treated like human beings. And that is fundamental. We have to make a change, and a difference is imminent. It is coming. A difference is coming, and all this we must take into consideration, because Jamaica belongs to Jamaicans. I'm going to leave it there for now, but I'll get back to you shortly. Have a wonderful day, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Alright, you do already, but it was bad now. Spend some money. No, you do bad. He do, but it was bad. No.
Show him. What is show him? What is show him? What is show him? Dear me. Aye. What do? We never vote here. We never vote so we can win.
Don't look good, Prime Minister. It don't look good. How long before a national protest is being called for? People across the country is disgruntled. The cost of living is getting to them. The situation on the roads is getting to them. The high taxi fare is getting to them because a lot of drivers afraid to use some part of these roads because of the condition they are in. Life-threatening. That's the roadway that we are engaging. And we hear from last November's conference, the Prime Minister spoke about the 40 billion Spark project. It now turned into 45 billion. The Prime Minister is yet to spend a dime out of that 45 billion. And look at the roadways across the country that even Darrell Vaz have to say, Andrew Holness, you have to take some emergency measures to address the road situation across the country. And Andrew Holness ain't still budging. And calamity has strike all around him. And the Jamaica Labour Party still thinks that Andrew Michael Holness is going to secure a third term for them. Where Andrew Holness cannot tell the people of his successes after 2 terms, leading into a general election. The Prime Minister is still blaming his predecessors. That alone, Prime Minister, sets out your failure. If you cannot come to the nation and says, these were the failures of the opposition, and this is what I have done to address them. Look how your life, your surrounding, your economy or whatever is better. You chant the economic argument, of course, but we've been told by Jamaica Chief Financial Analyst that all you have been telling us about the economy is a lie, Prime Minister. You tell us about the wonderful road projects, Prime Minister. Bus up road all over the country. It's one of the worst cries across the country at the moment, Prime Minister, the state of our roads. That is one of the biggest cries of the people. The state of our roads across the country. Given that last year you allocated 40 billion, you topped it up by another 5 billion. After Beryl, you allocated 3 billion to do the REACH project. A dime still haven't been seen in the constituency, because we say and Vaz, the Dear Action and we fix road past Sunday with bulldozer to sabotage ISAT Buchanan's presentation. We say and Vaz in a week, I put dot and stone with shovel in a pothole. These are the people that pay us for our votes. Look at the way Jamaica people allow J.C. Hutchison to speak to them. Because we don't vote for the future of our children. We vote for when we stretch out our hand. And when we hand come back to it, what's in it. Jamaica is a hand-middle country. That's why China and India is going to take it from you. Mark my word, it's going to happen. You don't have no land rights at Jamaica. We are tenants there. That's why the Prime Minister couldn't come back down with us and come ugly up and cry with the next day. We're just plantation workers still. Nothing changed. That's why we were not given land rights in Jamaica. That's why the land in Jamaica is still owned by the crown or the church. You know, see how much PJ take and get to the Chinese them for swap for Bill Road. And PJ never take up that same amount and say, make me share it up for Jamaica people. One don't say about Labour and PNP chick we. One don't say about Labour and PNP have we under bondage for 8 decades. Where we grandmother, we mother, we and we picnic them know the same pothole. Tell me if me I tell lie. Say 4 or 5 generation don't know the same pothole. That's why we politicians them can hug up and love up while we sit down and fight and raise with blood pressure and vex with one another and chop up with one another and shut down with one another for politicians. And then all we get out of it is $5,000 on a box food. You may get 2 chicken and a few feeding. You may get a farm work card. If you go inhale the chemical, them and give you cancer, come back home with. It's just the reality of things. But Jamaica people love it. Because when you call them to action for stand up for them rights, nobody now bother. Hey, Jamaica now want to cuss on you see. Because you see when it come to nomination to election, the whole period there, because I don't know the politician them, Jesus Christ, I want to cuss on a clot. Because I don't know the politician them, I got buy on the box food. The whole on come out for the box food and the $5,000 upon the campaign chain. Yes, I make Joe man they can't take it on a both Labour and PNP do it too. No? You bunch of hungry people. And when you go, they go demonstrate for the children's rights. You can't go because nobody now buy on a box food. I see money they go line up for donut for take joke. Cheap Jamaica. Love on the belly Jamaica. And not just Labour stay so. Jamaicans love belly because a both PNP and Labour they go line up for the donut and the KFC for the joke. Yes. Oh no. Go sleep outside for line up for donut. Yes. Jamaicans love on a belly. That's J.C. Hutchison. Can't come take food. Tell you no. And non-ambitiously. You still I go back go vote for politician for the money there again. Why no don't tell politicians say if me fi sell me vote to you have to pay me minimum wage every for 4 years every week for 4 years. Pay me in lump sum at minimum wage for 4 years. And then me will sell my vote. But no, you happily give it away cheap. And then I don't want to come argue with J.C. Hutchison. He might have a right for him mind and say, look here, me not own nothing. Me go on farm work card to chicken and chicken feeding. Not even when we get the $5,000 on the box food, and me no owe nothing, because me pay you no. Me no owe no nothing. We no get on a $5,000 on a box food. What else you no want? I got no value in it. That was the price you put on yourself, said J.C. Hutchison. Jamaica people, Holness are cheap. Holness are cheap. And then when you come talk about Jamaica politician corrupt, the whole mother hebad of us are corrupt. And we sell, we vote. And we tip off police to avoid justice. And we tip off the nurse or the doctor to get ahead of the queue. The whole of we corrupt. We no stop going like a politician alone. And we Jamaicans pay for corruption. And we Jamaicans sell corruption. Just look how cheap we sell, we vote. If you want to know that we are the cause of corruption, look how cheap we sell, we vote. Then afterward, we want to turn around, argue with them. After we put them in power, multi-million, we put them in power to earn multi-million, billion. And Johnny wife turned billionaire, you know. But you only charge $5,000 on a box food to put them there, you set of dunce. Anybody else sell them vote a dunce, you know. Anybody that follow tribal politics blindly these days, a dunce. But continue selling a vote. Continue to sell on a vote because there's something to benefit from selling it. Continue to sell on a vote, Jamaica. You don't want nothing. That's why advice can't tell no pickiness. It's okay if you go take drugs after you left school at evening time. It's okay to go and take drugs after you left school at evening time. This is the disrespect and the reckless way that politicians speak to us. Remember, I did Omar Davis, I wish one of them said, Jamaica young people are irredeemable. And therefore, it's for 9 over TikTok, what you do? So both of them talk down to it. Both of them don't do nothing to uplift it. That's why Andrew Holness can't answer to the youths of Chilani, because successive government has not done anything to make sure they bring employment into Chilani or even invest in what they do best in Chilani, agriculture and otherwise. No. Because the rural area are different parts of our different Jamaica as opposed to their built-up urban cities. Look, Andrew Holness and Michelle Charles a built urban center just down there, so. And Rona Church Lane, Rona Salt Lane a church corner around at the out of the dump. That's a different part of Jamaica from the urban center where Andrew built. There's so many different Jamaica which is not spoken about. There's so many different Jamaica where mainstream media don't even want to tell you about. Because mainstream media have lost it. Long time. That's why our work is important. Because we don't have no editor who said, no, this now go make Andrew Holness look good. Or no, this now go make Mark Golden look good. No, if it is to be said, it must be said. If the people are to be made aware, they ought to be made aware. And them something there why politicians get away with so much public corruption. Because say media is in bed with politicians. Media is butt-licking and boot-licking and pickpocketing politicians. So them really can publish certain story upon them. But let it be said, Andrew Holness' government is collapsing. How long before a member wield that bitter political knife into the prime minister? It's only a matter of time. I'm sure if Audley Shaw weren't going, there would have been another leadership challenge by now. Darrell Vaz looked very, very angry and disgruntled, seeing the losses looming ahead of him. Darrell Vaz knows that Andrew Holness' direction of the country is an encumbrance on his 2 seats. And Darrell Vaz is not happy. Who will first to wield the knife in public? We know there is discontent within the Labour Party. This has been going on since the local government result. We remember the wallowing and swallowing of dear old Joy over dear old Ennis. But the battle rages because 2 of the face-off is at it again, albeit from a different angle. It is once more Audley Shaw against Andrew Holness. That once it was over the leadership of the party that would end up in leadership of the country. This time it's over leadership of Audley Shaw seats. Audley Shaw say, you now come put for your canatis yasso. Me have to make sure me stay right within the gravy chain, Audley Shaw says. This man and his father, says Shaw, has done great service to the community. Therefore, I think he is the best to carry on the baton as central government, given how hard him and his father, says Shaw, have worked. What a calamity, Jamaica. Andrew Holness' party told us the other day. Andrew Holness is nominated and opposed. Means the Jamaica Labour Party is poised in full confidence in the Prime Minister and leading them into a 3rd term. Call it, Andrew. Call it. Call it, Andrew. Call it. Because I'm sure the nation, both JLP and PNP, is fed up. And you see the signal, Prime Minister, when you go around the country, your base is not turning out. And I'll give you a comparison. Even within the social media space, I was quite surprised the other night. Because when the East Portland presentation last evening, there was so many different social media platforms. You know, the crowd was big where Dazzle Darrell Vance eye. But there were so many different social media platforms streaming and restreaming, and there were thousands of people watching. One platform was streaming from St. Thomas, not St. Thomas, Portland, East and West, and one was streaming from Manchester. But particularly, Prime Minister, the one in Portland, one couldn't even manage to scrape 100 people online. And this is different ways where you see the Labour Party has lost their mojo. You see it with the constituency conference where the base aren't really turning up. That signal came from the local government election where even Andrew Holness admit that we lost the popular vote. because our base didn't turn out. The base also isn't turning out for these constituency conference. The base online, when you watch these different conferences you have, you do not have that base online either. What I'm waiting to see, Prime Minister, Beat and Teach, is it next Sunday or when it's conference? Type in and tell me when it's conference. I'm waiting to see what conference look like. I know that you will bust and chuck a lot of people in and pick up the bill. But I wonder if like how J.C. Hutchinson come disgrace them. Them still are going to take the $5,000 and the box food. So I want to really see Sunday's conference. Wow. So I will be paying attention, Prime Minister, because I want to see the crowd. When a cameraman them have a way of stucking the one camera in all sort of direction, but I will be monitoring social media to really see how the girl them Bubblegum Andrew and his Latsaranas perform, because spirit or confident, I think more spirit on the last. Even I was watching you all in Portland. Una they are struggle. Una was really struggling. And as I said to Una not speaking about policies. Una really not speaking about policies. Continue on a back and forth blame game of the last 18 years. It is not what will win the election. You did that, one could argue, successfully during your 2015 campaign. It will not work this time. Trust me. You think it will work, Prime Minister? Every time you do it, it turns people off you more and more. Because the issue is, it is the same lies in the same package. You didn't even repackage them. You're telling us the same lies you told 2015. And that's what makes it not going good for you. Because you never do well on your 100-day promise, Prime Minister. You never do well with the job description you promise you would give them. There's a lot you never did well with. And even those that you claim to have done well with, it's nothing to talk about. The good economy where you talk about, the minimum wage that you talk about, compare it to cost of living. It's a drop in the ocean. Because chicken can't buy anymore. Chicken back. Chicken back where people used to skin up them face span become luxury again. In a PJ and Porsche days, I mean, I defend no politician. People could have cooked chicken and beef on Sunday, or fish and chicken on Sunday. I dare them to try now if them not scam. I would like to invite. I've invited the Easy Jerk World. I've invited Patterson here February, during the local government election period. Patterson said to me, I will pass you on to the lady who is responsible. He gave me the name and he reassured me he passed my details over to her and she will get in touch with me. I'll know it not happen. But to be honest with you, I don't even interested in interviewing any of these politicians anymore because the whole of them are liar. My job is not to really give them a platform. My job is to really highlight them flaws. Not even their goods. That them feel up anything good them I do, and them feel highlight it. My job is to hold them accountable. And some of these politicians, and one thing make when the general election call, I will not engage with any of them like this because I've experienced it in the local government election. If you're giving people an interview, they want to tell you, I don't want to be on the thumbnail with XY. Don't come tell me that about my platform because you and them are stand up on the same debating platform. Uno and them are political friends on a meet and green one on a meet up. So I don't see why Uno can't be on a picture together. So me not go really pay no attention to politicians in a them way. My job is to really take them to task and to throw them out to the people because too often I think we vote for people and not knowing much about them. But this social media era, it's going to be much a different play from the old RJR and JBC card. Anyway, me tired, me I got my bed. Me I got my bed. Thank you all for being here tonight on the Global Television Group. Say you hear it here loud and clear that it won't be long before the big spat start within the Jamaica Labour Party that will hasten the collapse of Andrew Holness, where the party will have to look and say, for the life of the party, the Prime Minister will have to go. But that, sadly, will be too late because the Prime Minister, the Alibabas latched to the Prime Minister. The people have already lost it. So thank you all very much for being here tonight. Join us back tomorrow morning for your At a Glance program. Thank you and good night, TikTok. Good night, YouTube. Thank you. And join us tomorrow.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail. And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about? With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.